Hi, everyone. Welcome to our pre-departure orientation on Turkey. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Grace Glancy. I am the Student Services Officer for Programs in Europe, and I am joined today by my colleague, Sarah. So I will turn it over to Sarah to introduce herself.
Hi, Grace. Thanks for having me. My name is Sarah Öndeş, and I work in the international office at Yaşar University. I have been here for 4 years, and I am responsible for our ICEP program for developing international collaborations and dual degree programs between international universities and Yaşar. Thanks, Grace. Thanks for doing this. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we will go over culture and daily life in Turkey, the academic matters in Turkey, health and safety before you go, as well as keeping in touch with ICEP. So I am going to now hand it back over to my colleague Sarah to talk about daily life in Turkey.
Thanks, Grace. So just to start, just to let everyone know, life in Turkey can be extremely different from life in your home country. I've been here for 6 years now, and I love it. And I like especially the city that I live in, and Yaşar University is based in Izmir. So quick overview, just do your research ahead of time. Our goal is basically just to give you a glimpse of the Turkish culture and just a glimpse into the life of really what goes on here, and especially in Izmir. So we encourage you to consider differences in cultural expectations and daily life before departing so that you are not awoken with any surprises. While Turkey is the official language here, English is also widely spoken and understood by many throughout Turkey. Also, German, Russian, French are also spoken in popular holiday destinations. Most of our students end up going to the beach, and a lot of resorts are full of Germans and Russians, and just it's very international during the summer, let's put it that way. Turkish people are very hospitable. They will feed you until you burst, so you will not leave anywhere hungry, which is a good thing. They're very selfless people, very empathetic and understanding people. So they have a huge deal of national pride. So basically, you need to just not insult the national flag or the Turkish nation itself, and of course, the founder of Turkey, who is Atatürk. So the concept of honor is deeply embedded in Turkish culture, noticeably influencing people's behavior. A person's honor is determined by their personal actions as well as the behavior of those in their inner circle. For example, their family, community, or any group that they belong to. Turkish people are highly nationalistic, like I said, and even though the population is officially 97% Muslim, Turkey is a super secular society and supports no official religion nor cooperation between church and state. So most, tourists visiting Turkey are unlikely to see much evidence that they are in a Muslim country, except for the call to prayer, which is 5 times a day. So you will hear that around, but it's actually very pretty. I find it very peaceful. And it's just nice, especially when you hear it early in the morning or late at night. It's just it gives you really different vibes, positive vibes. So I will hand it over to Grace for the daily life in Turkey.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. So Turkish people live their daily lives at a more relaxed pace than you may be used to in your home country. However, punctuality is highly valued as a sign of respect. Please keep in mind that shops and restaurants have later opening hours than other European countries, with some stores remaining open even until 10 p.m. And some common Turkish greetings, and I might need Sarah's assistance on these, is merhaba, which means hello. And then günaydın, Sarah?
Good morning. You're right. Günaydın.
And then
that's right.
Nasılsınız? How are you?
Exactly. Nasılsınız? How are you? I love it. Good job, Grace.
Awesome. Thank you for learning Turkish. So, Okay. And then interpersonal relationships in Turkey. So Turkish communication style is often referred to as warm and indirect. For greetings, people are often addressed by their first name, followed with bey for men and hanim for women. For example, Yusuf Bey and Alif Hanim. I think I'm doing that correctly.
Yes, you are. You're doing great.
Thank you. People generally greet one another with a handshake when meeting for the first time. The common greeting among friends and family is generally to give 1 or 2 kisses to the other person's cheek. As Turkish culture also places a high value on respect for elders, it is considered proper to make your greetings from eldest to youngest, giving a slight nod or bow, regardless of how well you know each person. Direct eye contact is expected in conversation. Public displays of affection are not common/widely accepted in Turkey, depending where you are. If you are invited to a Turkish home, it is customary to bring a small gift of appreciation, such as sweets or flowers, as well as be prepared to take off your shoes if entering a home, as this is common practice in Turkey, even if you're just visiting a neighbor. So that's a little information on, daily communications. And now I'm going to pass it back to Sarah to talk about housing.
So our dorms are like a 5-star hotel. They are cleaned once a week, and there's a laundromat that you can do your laundry, or you can have somebody do your laundry for you. Breakfast is also included in our dorms as well. And Turks love a good breakfast. Breakfast is something that people here spend majority of their days doing on a Sunday and on a Saturday. It's a nice leisurely activity, and it'll last you a solid 3 hours. I don't know if you've ever seen a Turkish breakfast spread, but definitely look it up online. And that is also what you're going to get in the dorm as well. So you do have a bathroom in each room. We do have 2-person rooms and 1-person rooms. And post-pandemic, we stopped doing 3-person rooms. And they do have, like I said, a bathroom in there. And when I was in the States, I had to share a bathroom with 13 girls. So this is quite a change. And I'm confident that anyone that stays over there will also agree with me on that, Grace. So
yeah, absolutely.
And so meals, I'll talk about meals as well, just general food, in Turkey, and the breakfast especially. So Turkish cuisine is influenced by a lot of different cultures, just in general, from the Arabic culture, from the Greek culture, from Moroccan, I mean, you name it, it's really just, it's infused, but we have some dishes that are just true to us. And a lot of our cooking comes from the Ottoman Empire. And a lot of those meals, like just for eggplant dishes, we have 55 eggplant dishes. So just to give you an idea of really what it was like back then and how the Ottoman Empire kept that going. Because food here is just, you will not leave hungry. It's just impossible. So a Turkish breakfast would be like olives, tomatoes, cucumbers, jams, jellies from almost every fruit that you can imagine, fruit, eggs, sausage, salami. I mean, you name it. There's at least 30 different little plates, similar to tapas with ingredients. It's crazy. Lunches here are, pretty simple, because you have an hour for lunch between 12 and 1, and for most people that are working. So just soups, quick stuff, roasted meats, stuffed vegetables. There's especially one dish, it's called dolma, which is stuffed zucchini or stuffed. You can really stuff anything. You can stuff an eggplant and tomatoes. And so it's a lot of stuffed vegetables filled with rice, dill weed, fresh mint, parsley. It's really good. It's really refreshing, and a common thing is to put yogurt on top of that as well. So that is just one of the, that's just an idea for the lunch. Dinner is more heavy. A lot of kebabs, a lot of mezes, which are small plates similar to tapas. Fish. Turks love fish. They love a good fish, really. And especially in Izmir, the fish is super fresh. So a lot of, students that couldn't get that in the States or overseas really kind of just, they wind up super happy. So Turkish coffee and tea, they can't do without their tea. Even if it's 150 degrees outside, they're still drinking hot tea because some do claim that it cools them off. I'm not a tea person, but I do love a good Turkish coffee. And just as a fun fact, in our Turkish coffee, we do have readers who can actually read your Turkish coffee in Turkey and kind of tell you a little bit about your future or your past or something. So that's very common here as well, like a fortune teller kind of thing. Tips are, generally modest in Turkey, like restaurants, small tips, 5 to 10%. Not necessary, but it's always appreciated. Splitting checks is it's not looked down upon. I mean, everyone splits a check here, so it's really just it's not a big deal. So I'll go on to local food. So local food, the most popular Turkish dishes here would be köfte, and they're like small walnut-sized fried meatballs made from ground beef or lamb. Or you can mix them both with ground beef and lamb and put spices on top, as you can see in the first picture. Pide, so this is probably one of my favorite dishes because it's similar to pizza, but it's just not. I'm sure you've heard of pita bread that they give you in Middle Eastern restaurants, especially in the States and in the UK. So they give you the pita bread, and so in that bread, they put their topping and kind of make it similar to a pizza, like cheese, tomato sauce, ground beef, meat, if you want. It's really, it's delicious. And börek is stuffed phyllo dough. So they take phyllo dough, and to do this, to make börek, it's a long process because it's a lot of dough and a lot of layers that are involved, and you have to cook it just right so you have the crisp on the top. They are made with either potatoes, ground beef, spinach, just vegetables. So that's also a delightful dish. Also very light, in my opinion. And then dolma is very popular. It's stuffed grape leaves as well. So very healthy, very light. And especially in Izmir, you will find a lot of these light dishes, a lot of these mezes. Like of course, if you eat a lot, you will feel extremely full, but you will not feel uncomfortably full by eating the small mezes here. So I guess that will be it for the food section, because I could talk about this just for the whole time, but I'm not going to. So I'll just turn it over to you, Grace, for the technology section.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So technology while abroad, considering phone plans and internet and data. If you would like to continue using your home country cell plan, make sure to inquire with your provider to understand roaming costs. It is very common for students to purchase a SIM card with a local data plan and then mostly just use WhatsApp, which is commonly used in Turkey. Check with your provider to see if your phone is unlocked, as it will need to be, to trade SIM cards. You may also choose to purchase an inexpensive phone to make calls with only, depending on the prices for those. It is fairly common in terms of internet and data to find free Wi-Fi spots throughout the city. However, you also will have Wi-Fi in your housing. So if you have any questions about where to find Wi-Fi, definitely inquire with your host coordinator. And then in regards to finances in Turkey, so the currency used is Yeni Türk Lirası. Did I pronounce that correct, Sarah?
Yeni Türk Lirası, but yes, I think I got the gist. You did good.
Pretty close. So it's the new Turkish lira. The lira comes in coins of 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50, and a 1 lira coin, and notes of 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100 lira. It's important to know this because cash is preferred in souks and small retail outlets, so small stores. So we encourage you to begin the habit of collecting small bills to buy things at small stores or as well as in taxis or restaurants. So just keep that in mind. A wide range of banks and ATMs are available in Turkey and can be found throughout the city. So you will want to make sure ahead of time that you have a card or bank account that you're able to access while you're in Turkey. So make sure to check before you depart your home country. And now I'm going to pass it back to Sarah to talk about sports and leisure in Turkey.
All right. Sports are huge. Like the American football is to the US as soccer is to Turkey, essentially, and they call it football here. They are, since it's just such a super national, country and a lot of pride, the Ay Yıldızlar is the Crescent Stars. That's our national football team. A lot of popular sports include oil wrestling. Yes, this is a thing. Sailing, basketball, and especially volleyball. Our women's volleyball team actually won a very major sporting event, and I don't know the name, throughout Europe and just recently. So volleyball has just become a little bit more popular. Most time in summer, the people that live in Izmir go to the beach and relax, and that is also considered a sport here, eating and relaxing. So because Izmir is about 30 minutes away from Çeşme, which is one of the most beautiful beaches in this country, to be honest. Beautiful, just the sand is white, you can see your feet. And so most people just really leave the city heat on the weekends. And if they're working during the week, they'll head out on a Thursday or Friday, come back Sunday night or Monday morning and go straight to work. So holidays and festivals, we do have a National Sovereignty and Children's Day, Atatürk Commemoration and Youth and Sports Day. Ramadan is a big thing here. So we fast for 30 days from sunup to sundown and for 1 month. And so at the end of it, it's also known as Eid, E-I-D. So those who are familiar with the Islamic culture and the religion would know that, it would be Eid. And then Kurban Bayramı, which is, it's another Eid. So it's another holiday, and it does come after Ramadan. And every year, these holidays, just the Ramadan Bayram and the Kurban Bayram, come a month earlier than they did the previous year based on the lunar calendar. And the Izmir World Fair, which is early December. But Turkish people love a good holiday, so they love a good vacation. We are one of the top countries in the world that do have a lot of holidays, so you'll have enough time to take off and go on vacation and just relax. So it's hard to get in touch with someone on summer vacation, just FYI. So, but you can always reach out to us on email, and most people do tend to reply from them. So, yeah, back to Grace.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So now we have a few things you may not know about Turkey, some fun facts. It is illegal to photograph governmental buildings and military installations, so if in doubt, ask for permission from the nearest person of authority just to double check. The capital city of Turkey is Istanbul, which is a transcontinental city divided between two continents, Asia and Europe, so you can easily get between the two via ferry. And it is common to see a blue glass trinket that depicts an eye hanging in Turkish homes or restaurants. And this is said to ward off the evil eye, which is Nazar Boncu, I think. Did I get it?
Nazar Boncu, yes,
Okay.
you got it.
Very close. Okay. So next we're going to talk about something really important, which is culture shock. So finishing up our overview of culture, it is important to bring culture shock into the conversation, as every international student will experience culture shock in one form or another. In this iceberg representation, there are many components of culture that are surface level. We can see them immediately once we travel to a country, or we may have heard about stereotypes before we arrive in our host country, such as food, how people dress, the language, and so on. However, there are often many unseen belief systems, customs, and cultural values that take time to understand as you immerse yourself in that culture. As you go through your time abroad, you may experience some high and some low points. The first few weeks after you arrive are often described as the honeymoon phase. You've spent so much time and energy to get here, and now you just want to soak it in. You'll try new foods, meet new people, and you might even get some of the more touristy trips out of the way. During this period, you'll be charmed by many of the differences, especially the ones that you expected. The next stage is the negotiation stage. After a few weeks, you may begin to feel frustration and irritation towards the pieces of your new country that don't meet your expectations. You'll notice that things are not entirely the way you pictured them, and maybe you have trouble finding your footing. This could mean stumbling over a foreign language, homesickness, not quite understanding public transportation, which is very normal, or not finding close friends right away. Keep pushing on, and you'll begin to truly relax and find comfort in your new surroundings. Some of the differences that you were originally frustrated by are no longer consequential, and you may even begin to understand the deeper reasons as to why citizens from your host country act, speak, and dress the way they do. You'll find new appreciation for these differences and may even find parallels within your own home country. The next stage, moving on, you understand a richer complexity to the cultural nuances in your host country, and your routine feels more natural. Daily frustrations will likely still take place, but remember, this is a normal part of the human experience, and they may even be a sign of your adaptation. Please keep in mind this process is not linear, with a determined start to finish. Think of it as a circular process that may occur many times and with varied levels of intensity. Remember that your peaks and your valleys do not define you, but how you recover and learn from them each time. You may even experience, like I did, reverse culture shock once you return home. I encourage you, when you are sent a PDF version of this presentation, to review these previous ICEP student testimonies of their experience on ICEP programs. And now we are going to discuss academics in Turkey, so I'm going to hand it back over to Sarah.
Okay, so I will just give a quick overview of the higher education system in Turkey. So Turkish students wishing to matriculate to a Turkish university are required to take a standardized multiple choice exam. It's super similar to the SAT and ACT with verbal and quantitative skills, and assigns you a placement number based on your performance as to where you can get into and whatnot. So it's very similar to the SAT and ACT. The teaching styles are also similar, and just to note, a lot of our professors here were educated in the US. They do have their master's degree. The rector, aka president of our university, is a Stanford graduate. He is an engineer. We have professors from Oxford and from a lot of other universities as well around the world. So the teaching system is very similar to the US teaching system. The academic year usually begins in September, October, and ends in May or June. Of course, the pandemic kind of threw that off route, but hopefully I think we're getting back on track. And our professors here are super personable, so they're very easily accessible. You can send them an email day or night, and they do usually respond. So you shouldn't have any issues there. Campus culture. So we have an exchange student network. It's called ESN. So all international students that come in, for a semester abroad or for full time, they do join this network, and there's trips arranged for students to go to across Turkey, just different activities, parties. So it's just a good opportunity to make new friends, to be honest. We do have a mentor system. So each student that comes here is assigned a mentor who will help them find a place to live. If they do not have one, we'll also help them with their residence permit because you do need to apply for a residence permit within 30 days of being here. And that is what the mentor will help you do. Also, with any issues, if you need to go and buy a SIM card or you're just having trouble with something, anything, just simple transactions, the mentor is there for you as well. We do have a lot of clubs. We even have American football here for those that are interested. We have a team where it's the Admirals. Of course, don't expect what's happening there to happen here, but it's similar and it's fun. So a soccer club, chess club, all of the basics, really. We have a lot of sports and fitness facilities. Students are able to come and work out here, take a shower, Just it's a nice vibe, and an outdoor basketball and indoor basketball court as well. So, regarding your credit system, yes, exactly. Regarding the academics credit system, Turkish universities use ECTS, the credit system, which are easily converted into normal credits. So your host coordinator should not have any trouble doing that. Most classes at the universities combine larger weekly lectures with smaller follow-up discussion sessions, apologies. And then most courses meet for 2 to 3 hours on average per week. Sometimes that, changes, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, especially if there's group projects, etc. So, but it's a good vibe. And then Grace, I'll let you get into the grading system.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So Turkish universities currently grade on a 100-point scale, similar to the system used in the US. Accordingly, grade point averages are assessed on a 4-point scale, with 4.0 being the highest. Class attendance and participation are an important factor in student grades, and periodic tests, quizzes, and class assignments are quite common. For registration, pre-registration is not normally required. However, please check your pre-departure information in your ISEP dashboard for more details on registration. Only classes that students register for officially appear on their transcripts, so make sure that your registration is complete. If you have any questions about the process, please ask your host coordinator. You'll want to make sure when you're registering that you meet all of the prerequisites for the courses you are registering for. And students cannot normally choose courses outside of their field of study. So if you have courses of interest that are not in your field of study at your home university, please ask your host coordinator for more information. And then please also make sure to check on your online account or with your professors that you are on their class lists. And please make sure to attend the first session of class when many important organizational matters are discussed. We do encourage you to contact your academic advisor at your home university just to make sure that you will be able to earn credit and are enrolled in the minimum number of credits required by both your host and your home university. And I'm going to pass it back to Sarah to talk about interaction with professors.
Yes, so it's always a good idea to set up an in-person meeting with your host coordinator, me, and in any addition to email and phone communication, but I do, your first stop is the international office. So you do meet me first, and then you meet your academic advisor. All academic questions, your academic advisor is the person to go to. There are office hours, so use them. If you come when nobody is here, then unfortunately nothing we can do, so you'll have to come back again, but please pay attention to the office hours. And every professor and academic advisor is not always in their office, so it is best to schedule an appointment with them via email as well. So use proper etiquette, properly address the professors, including their name. And if they are a professor, if they are a doctor, it's best to use that title. You should address your academic expectations with your professors at the beginning of the semester in order to avoid confusion on assignments and exams later on as well. So we encourage you to proactively reach out to professors and classmates if you have questions or need extra help. Like I mentioned earlier, they are super personable. Most of them are. So you should not have any issues creating a one-on-one relationship with your professor. We strongly encourage you to write to your ISEP coordinator or your academic advisor for general questions, or if you are having trouble contacting your professor, and then I will jump in and reach out to the professor for you. If special arrangements are made with your professors, be sure to take care of those prior to coming and make sure your courses are selected prior to coming and that those courses will be available for you. And back to Grace for health and safety.
Awesome, thank you. So with health and safety, please make sure to review the full health and safety presentation that you will be sent via email. You should review the resources such as personal safety while abroad, Follow guidance from your peers on how to keep yourself safe. Review your insurance coverage as well as your letter of coverage in your ICEP dashboard. If you have any questions on insurance, please let us know, as well as we have insurance resources on our website. Please be sure to use the on-campus resources available to you. You can see this in your health and safety information tab on your ICEP dashboard, which resources you have available. If you have any questions about these resources or services, please let Sarah know as your ICEP host coordinator. Our ICEP emergency line is listed here, so we are available 24/7. However, your first contact should be in an emergency, the emergency services number, and then your ICEP host coordinator. The emergency services number used in Turkey is also used generally in Europe, and it is 112. So please make sure to save that number as well as the ICEP emergency line. And please also make sure to update your health and safety information and personal information while abroad in your ICEP dashboard so we know how to contact you in the case of an emergency. And health and safety in Turkey. So kind of just reviewing what we previously talked about is just keep in mind that Turkish people are high level of national pride. So it is, insulting the Turkish nation, national flag is considered highly offensive. It is illegal to insult the president of Turkey. So please keep that in mind. If you have any questions about, anything, please let your host coordinator know. It is not appropriate to drink in public places, public transportation, and parks, so keep that in mind. Penalties for possession, use, or trafficking of illegal drugs are very strict and include heavy fines and jail sentences between 4 and 20 years, so also very important to keep in mind. If you have dual citizenship with Turkey, we kindly ask that you let your student services officer or ICEP, so myself, know for further health and safety guidance. And overall street crime in Turkey is low. However, you should use the same precautions that you would take in your home country or in the United States if that's your home country. So, know before you go, we're going to discuss some packing tips. So I'm going to hand it back to Sarah.
Okay, so when it comes to packing, in Turkey, most places in Turkey, women are advised to wear modest clothing, somewhat that covers your arms and legs and chest. But in Izmir and Istanbul and a lot of the bigger cities, it has become a little bit more westernized in culture. So Izmir would not be the place where someone would be looking at you weirdly for wearing short shorts or a short skirt or this or that, because it is so close to the beach and it is a vacation city essentially. So, but if you are here for a long period and you are going to travel to different places in Turkey, I would advise also bringing some modest clothes. If you do go into a mosque here, you do need to cover your hair. All women do. Arms need to be covered. They need to wear a long skirt. You cannot go in with a mini skirt or short sleeve shirts. So it's also going to depend on weather. In summer, at this very moment, it's about 101 degrees outside. It is dry heat, so I don't know where you would be coming from, but it is not unbearable. So let's put it that way. And everywhere is air conditioned. So toiletries, medications that you are prescribed to, please carry them in your carry-on bag. And there are pharmacies on every street, so most medicines are available over the counter. So if you do forget your medication, like Bayer products, I mean, just really whatever you can think of, they have here as well. Electrical needs are important. So if you are bringing a charger from the US, then you would also need an adapter. You can also buy that here, or you can buy it before you come. It's the same if you're coming from Europe. European plugs are the same here as well. So check your pre-departure information on your ICEP portal. And the dorm, actually, you do not need to bring your own sheets, but you can, just as an extra, just in case, and do bring your own towels. So, but again, check your pre-departure information and let me know if you have any questions. and I'll let Grace to do the to-do list before we go.
Awesome, thank you. So before you go, there's a few things, well, there's a lot of things, but there's a few things that you need to make sure. Check your data plan with your phone provider for international plans, as we mentioned. Make sure you know the date and location of your on-site orientation. Write down the address of where you're going, have it in your carry-on as well as saved in your phone. Have your host coordinator's email and phone number, if available, written down. Make physical copies of all your important documents and keep them in different locations, originals in your carry-on, extras in your checked bag, as well as making electronic copies of all your important documents and uploading them to your Google Drive or another online storage system just so you have them just in case. If you have any questions about what you need to do before you go, please let me know. We also have a before you go section on our website, as well as your ICEP country handbook for Turkey that I encourage you to review before you depart on your program. And then keeping in touch. So it's important to determine before you leave how you plan to stay in touch with family and friends back home, letting them know how you plan to stay in touch. We do have tips for staying in touch on our website, so I encourage you to review that. As I mentioned before, please remember to update your contact information in the contact information tab on your dashboard, just so we know how to contact you. And please remember to let your family and friends know once you arrive safely in Turkey. And we love to hear your stories about your travels, about your program. So we encourage you to use social media to connect with other ICEP students. We have a Facebook group. We also have the opportunity to become a digital ambassador. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. We encourage you to check out our Instagram and Twitter and use the hashtag ICEP Study Abroad to share photos and updates. So that was our presentation. We are super excited for you to go on your program in Turkey. I know Sarah is super excited as well. So thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to, have you share your insight and your experience living in Turkey.
Thanks, Grace. And if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I don't have office hours. I do respond to emails at all times of the day. But thank you, Grace. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. And tell me one more time, how do you say thank you in Turkish?
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Good job. All right.
I'm working on it. I hope you all work on your Turkish too. But thank you, everyone. And please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.